All right, Deadbeat. So in this video, I'm going to share the story about how the Dig.com founder crashed my $30,000 per month web hosting company. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and then tick that bell icon so that you're notified of any videos that I release when I release them. All right, so in the past, in some of my videos, I've mentioned a web hosting company that I started when I was in high school. It was really successful up front, but there was something in particular that happened that eventually caused it to crash and crash pretty quickly. So in this video, I'm going to share the lessons that I learned to hopefully help you avoid the same fate with any business that you start in the future. All right, with all that said, let's jump right on into this video and get to the not so good stuff. Here we go. All right, Deadbeats, so this is going to be a crazy story, but I do have proof to back this all up. I will show you that somewhere in the video here. Today I want to talk about how Kevin Rose crashed my $30,000 per month web hosting company. So in some of my previous videos, I've mentioned that I started a hosting company when I was in high school. I started it when I was about 15. And in this video, I want to talk about more of how it all happened and how it exploded in growth and eventually crashed because it grew so fast that I couldn't keep up with it. All right, so let's first start off with the whole Kevin Rose thing. I'm a big fan of Kevin Rose. He's kind of been a role model for me about how to be successful. So when I was 16, I started my hosting company. He was about my age right now when he actually plugged my web hosting company live on there. So he recommended my hosting company on a show that he did. So he was part of the show called the Tech TV Screensavers. And during one of the episodes, someone called up asking for recommendations for web hosting. And he actually selected my company and recommended my company live on the air. So what happened was, at the age of 15, I don't know if you can see that, I started my web hosting company. So here's the bottom of the graph. I'm 15 years old. I ran it for about 3 to 4 years, 15, 16, and 17. So between 15 and 16, I kind of manually did everything. I was hustling for customers, so the growth was very slow. It was like this. So one by one, I was getting customers. Probably about by the end of the first year, I manually got about 500 people paying me money every month for web hosting. Now, somewhere along this line, somewhere in this time frame, Kevin Rose actually signed up for my hosting service. Now, at the time, I had no idea who he was. So what I was doing was I was going through all my customer websites, trying to find people who had websites similar to my niche. So I was looking for people with tech websites, tutorial websites, anything like that, in an attempt to sponsor their website or their hosting plan for free in exchange for advertising on their website. So Kevin actually had a site. At the time it was called, off the top of my head, this is a long time ago, it was called something like The Broken. It was in essence a forum about computers and hacking and all that stuff. So I offered to host him for free, and he took me up on the offer, and he actually put my banner at the bottom of his website. All right, so what happened was one day he plugged his site on the show, the Screensavers, and it made his site blow up. So it crashed the server. I had to call him up. I didn't want him to know I was 16, so I was like, yeah, this is Dan from ReadySetConnect. And I put on this voice to pretend like I was an adult. And I was like, look, basically your server, your site's using too much resources, so I'm going to buy a server for you. You're going to get your own dedicated server. It's something like $300 per month. But I'm going to continue to sponsor you because you are getting people to sign up and it's worthwhile for me. So I'm going to continue to sponsor an entire dedicated server for you. So of course he was thrilled about this. $300-400 a month servers for free is kind of like a huge little perk. So we continued with the sponsorship relationship. Now, somewhere along the line, towards the end of the first year, he actually plugged my web hosting company on the air. So someone called in, or I forgot how it went, and he recommended my service. So I got a huge spike in customers during that first initial plug. It got me to about, I think, 1,000 people. Pretty much 500 people signed up within the first week of that plug. So things are going great. I was able to manage the growth, and the company was slowly growing after that spike. The referrals, word of mouth. Things were great. Now, somewhere along the line here, he plugged my hosting service again 2 or 3 more additional times. And all of a sudden, the company just took off like that. And by the way, if you want to see that episode, I actually dug up that episode here. It's labeled The Screensavers 4/9/2004. This was a long time ago. I can't play this video because of copyright issues, but I will leave a link to it in the description at the point in the episode where he recommends my company, ReadySetConnect. So that was the name of my hosting company, ReadySetConnect. So let's go back to the story here. The company exploded. The problem was because I was doing school full time. I had exams. This is towards the end of the senior year here. I had exams, I had papers, and I was managing a big company. This was a big company at this point. I couldn't keep up with the growth. So what I did was I was forced to hire a bunch of people to manage it for me, and that was just a complete disaster because I had to do it so quick. The foundation for the business wasn't solid enough to sustain the growth. I wasn't new to this, so I hired the wrong people. I didn't have the right foundation in place, and essentially what happened was because of that, the company crashed really quickly. It basically grew quicker than I could keep up with it, and the quality of service went down so much that I was starting to get bad reviews. People weren't recommending me anymore. They were leaving the service to the point where eventually the business crashed. Now, of course, I made a whole bunch of money in this time frame. I bought a Porsche. I spent all this money on friends, squandered it, so to speak. But where I'm going with this is the lessons that I learned are this. When you have a massive growth period, at some point, what you need to do is close the order form. I had the thought for a second, I was like, maybe I should close the order form. But what I decided to do instead of that was I just thought in my head that if I raised the prices of my hosting, it would slow the customer intake down enough and I would still be able to earn more income every month because I'd be getting more money per customer, but there'd be less of them so I could support it. But that didn't happen. What happened is that more people actually signed up because they thought of it as a premium service, and the growth continued to skyrocket. Meanwhile, I was making more and more money. So it was hard for me at that point to really just shut off the order form because I was getting so many high quality, high value customers coming in through the door every single day. So what I should have done looking back, and this is for all of you that might get into this position, is that if your business foundation hasn't caught up with the growth, you will fail. So what I recommend you do, and this is kind of controversial, is you close your order form, or you close whatever that mechanism is that is going to continue the growth until the point where you can catch up and support it. Reason why is because if you can't support it, yeah, you're going to grow and your revenue is going to increase, but your business will crash and you'll lose everything. So it's better to slow yourself down a little bit instead of kind of pushing forward to grow as fast as possible. That dude, who was it? I was never good at history. It was like Alexander the Great. He conquered all of Europe, and instead of stopping, what he did is he continued to expand until his empire crumbled out from under him. So that's essentially what happened here. So that's lesson number one. Lesson number two, this is the big takeaway for this for me, and this is going to be hard for me to explain exactly how this all works, but let me get rid of this goobs. All right, so this is the important lesson. This is your brain. Was it the brain stem? This is horrible. I'm not a scientist, so don't quote me on this. So here's your brain. When you do positive stuff, I was doing nothing but positive activity during this high school period here. I was working out, I was focusing on building up a business, I was building myself up. When you do things that do that, what you do is you create this barrier around your brain. Think of this as kind of like a castle and the moat and the castle walls. The more positive stuff you do, the thicker this barrier becomes. Now, as your business grows and as you take on more stress, things start to attack this positive barrier that you build up. So some of those things for me in my hosting company were those 3 employees that I hired. I didn't know how to manage them. I didn't know how to put them in their place. And basically they bickered and fought amongst themselves. As 1 employee, 2 employees, 3 employees. They would spend all their time bickering about who was in charge and who was the lead tech. So all this drama was occurring, and I had to constantly think about who was causing the drama. I had to figure out who was the problem. So this is one little problem that I had with the company. I didn't know how to manage employees, keep them in their place, simply because I was too worried about other things. Another thing I was worried about was making sure that the technology that I was using, the things like the servers, that I was up to speed on that so I could support the growth of the company. So that was another thing. Another thing was irate customers. I mean, those just happen in a business. I see for irate customer. You have to solve those problems because they can leave bad reviews. And it happens, the more business you do, the more customers you get. Naturally, the more irate customers you're going to get. There's no way to avoid that. But you do have to handle those people, especially with a hosting company, as the CEO or the owner, whatever you want to call it. Another issue was keeping all the relationships that I built up, you know, with Kevin and all them tight. You know, I wanted to make sure I provided them a high quality service so that they continued to use my service. So that was another thing. Another issue was personal stuff. You know, I had friends that were kind of acting up because I was becoming successful. They were doing weird things. So I had that on my mind. Another thing was trying to guide the direction of the business. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Do I want to sell domain names? Do I want to eventually offer dedicated servers? So business development, very important. That was another thing. So where I'm getting at is that the more stuff that's on your mind, the more your little protective barrier, your wall starts to erode, it starts to crumble. Now, if you do business development properly, what happens is that you're going to only focus on the most important things like business development. You know, you do have to do the customer thing. Some people disagree with that, but when you have mad customers, you have to go out of your way to fix that as the CEO of the business. Another thing is that you have to do your relationships. But all these other things, I should have built systems. I should have hired a manager to do all this other crap that was taking up brain power and mind power. Now, what happens is if you have too much stuff going on at once, this wall crumbles and basically your brain just sits there like a deer in the headlights, unable to do anything. And the way it works is that as the business owner, your business is basically a reflection of your mental health. So if you have positive mental health, if your stress is under control, you're doing good things, your business is naturally going to follow that. But as your mental health starts to erode, naturally the business will always fall with it. And that's the one thing that I learned through this lesson. It's very crucial to manage your mental health, your stress levels, and your sanity. Without it, your business will crash. There is no way to avoid it. So those are the two major lessons that I learned from that. Now, another one that I learned is that through this massive success and failure, I learned that personally, at least at that point in my life, I wasn't good at managing massive amounts of stress like that. So what I did was I kind of backtracked a little bit. I went a little bit down the totem pole into affiliate marketing because I knew with affiliate marketing, the only thing I had to worry about was creating content and getting traffic and selling stuff. I didn't have all those other things like customer support, dealing with employees, relationships, all that stuff that drained me. With affiliate marketing, I didn't have to worry about it. So I went from web hosting to affiliate marketing. I was much happier with that. Maybe at some point I might go back up the food chain and do one of these higher level businesses. But for now, I am happy 100% with affiliate marketing and creating products. That's just better for me personally. So I do recommend if you're a beginner, you might want to consider doing affiliate marketing just to kind of get your feet wet and understand the business. I do have a guide that is available. You can get it at the top right of the screen here. This shows you step by step how to create an affiliate marketing business from scratch, everything you need to know. Keyword research, picking a market, writing content, setting up a website, getting traffic so that you can start selling things and earning affiliate commissions without worrying about all this stuff that can literally make your brain just die. What happened was after 2 years of this, after about 2 years of this massive stress, it just shut down and I went into like this weird downward spiral. I'm going to say that you probably don't want this. So get this guide at here, start today. You can get that at deadbeatuniversity.com/guide. All in all, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, just a big shout out to Kevin Rose. That dude is like a hero to me, simply because he was kind enough to promote my business. Really, I didn't ask him to do it. He just did it. So I just want to give a shout out to Kevin Rose. I don't know if you watch this. What's up, dude? I was the guy that hosted your website back in the day. I was 16 years old at the time. I just want to say thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. I kind of blew it, but here I am. Still in action, still going at it. Hope you're doing well. All right, Deadbeats, Dan Brock, the Deadbeat Super Affiliate. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join the Deadbeat Revolution today by clicking the circle subscribe button right here underneath this video. Also, there's the free guide that I just talked about that shows you how to create an affiliate marketing business from scratch. And right here are additional videos on my channel that'll help you make money online as an affiliate marketer. Check those out. My name is Dan Brock, the Deadbeat Super Affiliate, and I'll see you deadbeats later.